Who is going to be the opponent for Zack Sabre Jr. tonight at Forbidden Door? That's right, AEW versus New Japan pay-per-view is tonight. And of course, Zack Sabre Jr. was meant to be taking on Bryan Danielson, but of course, due to injury, Bryan Danielson will not be able to partake. Bryan Danielson did also say that a replacement will be named on his behalf, taking that spot this evening on the pay-per-view, and also at Blood and Guts on AEW Dynamite this upcoming Wednesday, and that person also will be the newest member of the Blackpool Combat Club, which of course Excalibur said later on commentary. So who is going to fill that role? We're going to be talking about that today here on SCW. Please like, share and subscribe, share with a friend as well, and drop a comment as well in the comments below. Let me know who you think is going to be that mystery person taking on Zack Sabre Jr. this evening. So without further ado, I'm going to go through a few names who I think it could be, judging by the rumor that's out there, and overall going to give my prediction at the end here. So the first name that comes to mind is Cesaro. Of course, Claudio, if you prefer, no longer with WWE. There were rumors a couple of weeks ago that perhaps there was negotiation on the table that he could return to WWE, but of course nothing has materialized with that, as we know anyway. In the wrestling media, wrestling world, we've not seen him turn up on WWE. So as far as we're aware, he's still a free agent. And of course, we know Cesaro and Bryan Danielson have a good working relationship. In fact, even before Bryan Danielson left WWE, he was vouching a lot to push Cesaro at that point, even on television as well. Remember the time that Cesaro actually got a pay-per-view main event against Roman Reigns? Yeah, that was a thing last year at WrestleMania Backlash. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were to bring this combo into AEW as well. And Cesaro, I think, would be a great fit for the Blackpool Combat Club. And well, Bryan Danielson did say, imagine what this guy would do in All Elite Wrestling. Does kind of prove the point that perhaps we would see the full potential shown on our TV screens if Cesaro was to come into All Elite Wrestling, because we didn't see what could have been with Cesaro in WWE. In my opinion, should have been someone towards the top of the card, perhaps with a manager, a mouthpiece. I think the guy could have been a multi-time world champion. So that's the first name that springs to mind. The second name that springs to mind is Johnny Gargano. Now, Johnny Gargano, believe it or not, has not been wrestling now for about 5 months, 6 months or so. It's crazy to think that, of course, he's become a father. He's taken some time off. He's probably refreshed. He's probably healed. He could be ready to get back in the big time. And one little key note, Johnny Gargano is doing a signing in Chicago today. So he's there today in Chicago. He could potentially be at Forbidden Door this evening. One other little note that could actually support the argument for this as well. Remember when Johnny Elite debuted as the Joker in the Owen Hart Foundation tournament? Didn't AEW screw up a tweet and it was Johnny Gargano that was tagged instead? Now that could have been a simple accident, of course it could have been, but just trying to put 2 and 2 together here. We could get 5, but maybe this evening it might become 4. I do think, just like Cesaro, Johnny Gargano, if he was to turn up tonight, would get a big reaction. I think a match of Gargano versus Zack Sabre Jr. would be very good as well in ring. It's a very good technical masterclass between these guys. So for me personally, I'd be quite on board if this was the mystery person that we had this evening. Next name in the rumor mill could be Jonathan Gresham. I mean, Jonathan Gresham is arguably one of the best technical wrestlers in the world, the current Ring of Honor World Champion. Of course, Gresham did actually appear on Rampage this past week. Looked to be setting up a tag team match. I don't know if that's going to be for Dynamite or Rampage going forward. We'll have to wait and see. But with Gresham being back in the mix, potentially he could be the one. He'd be a good fit for the Blackpool Combat Club, in my personal opinion. But what I would say that goes against here, it's not a fresh new name. Perhaps, you know, when you get told it's this mystery person, all of a sudden an expectation comes with the fan base. And I do think there is a slight potential that if Gresham is the guy, that maybe there could be a bit of fan backlash. Now, personally for me, I wouldn't have that backlash. For me, Gresham, one of the best technical wrestlers in the world, would be perfect for this match. Gresham and Sabre Jr. have faced off before at Ring of Honor's Final Battle back in 2018. That was the opening contest. A fantastic technical masterclass between these two. I'd be down to see it again if it was to happen. But for me personally, when you look as well that Gresham is back and tying up with Ring of Honor storylines right now, I do feel it's slightly unlikely that he could be going to the Blackpool Combat Club and sort of doing AEW matters at the same time. Next superstar I'm going to talk about, I'm going to give credit, by the way, to WrestleManiac UK, who of course joined me for my Forbidden Door predictions, came up with this name. Only Lorcan was the name he suggested. Could be someone that could fill in the role. Of course, a free agent, a fantastic technical wrestler. is available to come and jump in the role. Personally, for me, I think it would be a good fit as well for the Blackpool Combat Club. So for that, I do think it's a good shout. For those who want to see that full predictions video, I will put that video at the end of this video. You can just see it in the corner of your screen when it does come up. You can click on it and you can check out the full predictions video with us two going through the entire Forbidden Door card. But for me, what I will say again, I still think this is probably an unlikely name that could come in. Again, like I said, with this mystery person, AEW put themselves on a high pedestal. You almost expect the biggest names possible to fill this role, and I kind of feel the same. Only Lorcan, although would be a good fit for a Blackpool Combat Club, at the same time may feel a letdown for the audience, but that's just me talking. Let me know if I'm wrong in the comments below. Last but not least, let's talk about some superstars that are already currently on the AEW roster, because I'm sure many people are already screaming at this video. AEW's roster's bloated. They don't need more talent. Why would they go out and sign somebody else? Is it not enough you've even got another entire promotion to come and do a pay-per-view with you? Well, you could be right. Maybe AEW will just take someone from their roster, because didn't John Moxley say for someone to join the Blackpool Combat Club, they've got to bleed with him first? If someone's had a grueling encounter with people in the Blackpool Combat Club, maybe that is what's going to bring someone in. It could be someone in-house rather than someone coming in for the first time appearance this evening. You look at superstars like Lee Moriarty, someone that's been spoken about before, had a great technical masterclass match with Bryan Danielson on AEW Dynamite. Perhaps someone like Dante Martin had a fantastic showing against John Moxley a couple of weeks ago on Rampage. And perhaps last but not least, and certainly probably least, I don't think that this will happen, but someone I'd love to join the Blackpool Combat Club would be Daniel Garcia. Imagine him defecting from the JAS. He looked like he wasn't entirely happy that Sammy Guevara came into the mix. And if you look at the Blood and Guts match graphic, there is this 6 versus 6 idea of the match next week. Imagine if he was to defect, and then that way the odds are actually going against the JAS into the match coming next Wednesday. Now, I don't think that that's going to happen. I think if it was going to be someone on the AEW roster, like I say, it's someone that would have bled with these guys before. Perhaps Moriarty or Martin would be good candidates for it. But overall, I'm going to say that, again, I think AEW is going to go with the mystery element and actually try and get the biggest name impossible, which is why I narrow it down to Cesaro or Johnny Gargano. Like I say, Johnny Gargano is in the area. It would make a lot of sense if he was the guy this evening. Of course, he's a great technical wrestler as well. Probably one of the best technical wrestlers in the world. I actually would like to see Gargano versus Danielson at some point, but of course they have been fighting on the indies many years previously, so they do have that link already. And Cesaro is someone that's been vouched for, like I said, from Bryan Danielson earlier on, so it would make a lot of sense to bring him in. They've fought together, probably fought against each other, probably had matches against Moxley as well in WWE. So, I mean, there is kind of making sense of it in another way. And of course, you know, William Regal was, head of NXT and stuff like that, was a big fan, overviewing both of these stars. So both would make a lot of logical sense. So to narrow it down, if it's Johnny Gargano, please AEW Twitter get it wrong and say Johnny Elite just for the lols. But as a final prediction, I'm gonna say Cesaro. I will say Cesaro, but as I say, it could literally be either. I wouldn't be surprised either way. But let me know what you think in the comments below. Who is going to be on taking on Zack Sabre Jr. this evening? I can't wait to hear your thoughts on who you think it will be. If you've enjoyed this video, then please like, share, and subscribe. Enjoy Forbidden Door this evening. And coming up on the screen right now is that full prediction. So if you want to go check that out with myself and WrestleMania UK, do so now. We get all of our picks for the entire show this evening that's taking place, of course, on Fight TV. But that's all from me anyway. Thank you for watching SCW here on YouTube. Take care, have a great day, and I'll see you next time.